What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Love During Lockup Season 4, Episode 5. So let's start off with Michael and Justine. So their wedding day has come. We see Justine getting ready, putting on her dress, putting on her trinkets, and she is ready to walk down whatever aisle the prison is going to provide for them so that she can finally be betrothed to her man, Michael. His mother asks her, why didn't they just wait until he was released? Because he doesn't have that much time left. He has like a month or two left. And she gave some lame answer. It didn't make any sense to me. Something about having more control over their wedding or some nonsense like that. But the truth of the matter is she wants to get him locked in this marriage before he's a free man, because she knows that once he's out there, he's not going to want to get married. So the mother knows that his mother knows that her son is a player. And so she asked Justine, so far you've only known prison Michael. So how are you going to handle free Michael? And she gave whatever answer she gave. But if the mother knows, if the mother admits that her son, his own mother is admitting that her son is a player and has always had a plethora of women, the mother is admitting that, then Justine, you're in for a world of trouble. There is no way this man's going to be faithful. I don't believe it. I don't think even Justine believes it, but she's going to keep her fingers crossed and hope against hope that at least when he makes a fool out of her, he doesn't make her look like that big of a fool. But she will be made to look like a fool because the red flags are all over the place. There's no way this man's going to be faithful. I will bet anything on the fact that this man is going to be cheating on her, probably not even a month after they exchange their vows. Justine's mom says that Michael is going to have to prove himself before she can even accept him as her son-in-law. And yeah, let's just see. The only time that their whole relationship has occurred behind bars. And I don't understand why people who date inmates, why don't they understand that this relationship is not a real relationship when the other person is locked up in a box and has nothing else to do, nowhere else to go, no one else to talk to? How can you gauge that and be like, this is the man that I want to marry. I want to be married to this man, a man who I've never dealt with in the free world. We've never been tested or challenged in any way, but I'm going to go ahead and marry him. She should have just waited until he got out of prison, continue to date him while he's free, and then, figure it out then after all said and done, after he's free and he's been free for a while. And if y'all are still committed to one another, then make that decision. Girl, you have kids. You've got 3 children and you're willing to put them through all kinds of drama and mess for a man that you've never even dealt with while he was on the outside. Let's see how that's all going to work out. Moving on to Louie and Melissa. So she drove to Georgia from New Jersey to see her man. Or I don't know if she drove to Georgia. She flew to Georgia. She didn't drive. She flew to Georgia from New Jersey, but we see her driving to the place where he works. Now, right now, Louis is in a transitional facility where they're able to work during the day. And then I guess they report back to the facility after the workday's over. So she's actually able to see him at work. Now, when I say see him at work, I mean like she was way across the field with binoculars and she was able to spot him working at his, area of work. So she calls him and he answers the phone right away. So prison has changed a lot since my understanding of how prison went, because it seems like now inmates have cell phones and have access to social media, because we see, prisoners making TikToks. They have Instagram accounts. She called him and he answered right away as if he has a phone with him. So I'm just kind of wondering, like, what is the security really like nowadays in prison? Or maybe because he's in a transitional facility, has access to a phone. I don't know what the hell is going on there. So she says to him that by the way, when she saw him from across the field, he was working. He was able to see her, he was able to see her, and he's with his, other inmate co-workers working, and she decides to flash him. With other inmates being there, she decided to flash him. The last time these people even saw each other, they were still in high school. He's been locked up. I think she said he's been locked up 10 years. I think that's what she said, that he's been in prison for 10 years. And the last time that they dealt with each other, I don't even know if no, not even dealt with each other. The last time she saw him, it was when they were in high school. They didn't interact in any kind of way. I don't even know if he knew her. But anyways, let's move on. So she then tells him that she's going to go. Actually, she wants to actually go and see him. And he tells her, no, don't come over here because I'm going to get in trouble. And I guess it can put more time on his books or something. But she don't give a damn. So she starts running across the highway, the field, wherever the hell she's at. She's running across. She gets to see him. They spend a couple of minutes together. They have a chance to, make out. I think she said to make out for like 10 or 20 minutes. And then she had to hurry up and leave. And that little bit that she got of him, I guess, is really going to ignite the fire in her to really try to make it work. On her way there, she called one of her friends and told one of her friends that she was on her way to see him, that she was in Georgia, and she was on her way to the facility to go see Louis. And her friend was like, yeah, you're crazy, and I don't support this. Moving on to Dowry and Emily. So they've been in a relationship for 3 years. He's been locked up for 6 years. And this is the one that has power of attorney over all of his businesses. So any money that goes on his books, she has access to. And she claims that she is scamming the scammer. I guess she's using up his money. I don't know what else she's doing. It's a very bizarre relationship because she keeps talking about how she's taking advantage of him. But this is supposed to be your boyfriend. But she's constantly bragging about how she's scamming him. So she gets a call from his friend. I think his name was Smokey. I'm not really sure. No, Smoke. She gets a call from one of his friends, Smoke, and Smoke tells her, hey, Dowry told me to come by to pick up some money because we're supposed to be going into business together, so he's got some money waiting for me. And she was like, absolutely not. I'm not giving you any money. She knows who Smoke is, and Smoke knows who she is, and she doesn't like Smoke. And so she doesn't believe him when he tells her that Dowry has sent him to go pick up money from her. So she's like, no, I'm not going to give you any money. Absolutely not. So she's upset. So she hangs up on him or whatever. He hangs up on her. I don't know. So then later on, Smoke is talking to one of his homeboys saying that Dowry most definitely had money coming in and that money was his, and he wanted Smoke to go pick it up from Emily, and Emily's absolutely refusing. So Smoke is seeing Emily as someone that's getting in the way of him and Dowry trying to do this business, whatever hell business it is. I don't even think they even mentioned on the show what kind of business that they were trying to do. So yeah, that's bizarre and stupid. So she says, no, I'm not going to give anybody any money because this is my money. What's his is mine, and I'm not going to give it up. Moving on to Dustin and Jessica. So they are on their way. No, she is on her way to move to Tennessee. Now, Jessica is the one who used to work as a prison nurse, and she fell in love with an inmate, i.e. Dustin, and she had to resign from her job because she wanted to maintain her relationship with Dustin, because you can't work for the prison system and date an inmate. So her relationship with Dustin was a whole lot more important to her than her job. So she quit her job so she can carry on with Dustin. So she's on her way to Tennessee with her daughter. They're driving to Tennessee from Florida, and she wants to, start a whole new life in Tennessee because that's where Dustin is going to be released to, I guess, when his time comes up for release. Her first husband, she claims, was a very controlling marriage. Her second husband cheated on her with a friend like months after they got married. And so she says, hopefully the third time will be the charm, referring to Dustin, an inmate. How? How? I mean, you're going from bad to worse. Your first husband was extremely controlling, but you stayed there for 15 years. Then you get married to somebody else who cheats on you with one of your friends soon after you got married to him. Now you're dating an inmate. Do you see the pattern? Do you see the decline in the caliber of men that you're choosing? But the third time is supposed to be the charm. Okay, so they find a house. They meet up with a real estate agent. Another thing that she mentioned was that Dustin is always getting in trouble in prison, and they're constantly sending him to something called the blocks. I don't know if that's similar to the hole, but they're constantly sending him to the blocks. I think she said the blocks, because she thinks it's because of his association with her, because she had decided to quit her job to be with him. Now she thinks that the prison system is after him and they're after her. So that's why her visitation has not been granted. That's why he keeps on getting in trouble in prison because, he's dating her. And I guess the Department of Corrections absolutely hate her. So they take it out on him. She says that he got in trouble and he got sent to the blocks because he damaged prison property. And she claimed that the property that he damaged was a blanket that was folded and he had put his feet up on the blanket, and then they docked him for damaging prison property and sent him into the blocks or whatever. So they're out to get them. It sounds a little bit delusional, but she might be right. But it just seems kind of crazy that the Department of Corrections is like so concentrated on her relationship with this inmate. Like, wouldn't they have other things to worry about? Maybe what she's talking about is true. I don't know. So they get to Tennessee, her and her 17-year-old daughter. They meet up with the real estate agent and they look at a home. And I thought the home was pretty decent. She said that she's looking for a home within the $300,000 range. She's going to pull money out of her 401k to put down the down payment for her house. And I thought the house was pretty decent. I didn't see anything really wrong with it. The house ran for $298, so it was within her budget. But when she left, her daughter said that she didn't like the house at all. It reminded her of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So the daughter thinks that her mom is moving way too fast. She herself does not want to leave Florida because she'll be leaving behind her dad, her family, her friends. So she's not looking forward to moving to Tennessee at all. Then the daughter asked her, what if things don't work out between you and Dustin? And Jessica says, well, why wouldn't it work out? So the daughter is like, I'm just like asking, I'm just throwing a scenario out there just in case. The daughter wasn't intending to make it look like she didn't believe they were going to work out. She was just asking a question like, hey, if it doesn't work out because you have completely uprooted your life in Florida to go live in Tennessee specifically for this man, what would you do if it didn't work out? She was just throwing a question out there. But Jessica kind of took it personally. And she tells her daughter, this is until death does us part, until death do you part. We're in this until the very end. There is no option of it not working out. So her daughter was trying to put some sense into her, just trying to like have her look at the bigger picture. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to just stay in Tennessee? Because when they went to go see the real estate agent asked, are you looking to rent or buy? And she said, buy. So she's really serious about living permanently in Tennessee. I thought she would have said rent, just in case it didn't work out. You can go back to Florida. But she said, no, she's looking to buy a home in Tennessee and to stay there permanently with this guy named Dustin. And we have seen pictures of Dustin. Nobody in their right mind would uproot their life in their home state to go live somewhere else to make a new life with Dustin. Moving on to Mikey and Chelsea. So Chelsea is our hearing impaired young lady who is dating Mikey. Mikey's a guy that's extremely buff. I forgot, how much time he's serving. So the last time we saw this couple, she had heard from his mother and sister that Mikey had suffered a mini stroke and that he was in the hospital. So she was really worried about him. She told her coworker about it. Her coworker was like, it's all BS. That's not true. There's something fishy about this story. So now with this episode, we see her dad. Chelsea's dad comes over to see her. And it takes a while for her to come to the door because she's deaf. Obviously, she can't hear the door knocking or whatever. So the father texted her to let her know that he was there. It took her forever to respond, but she finally did respond because she's in a funk because she hasn't been able to talk to Mikey. So she's like in a depressed state of mind. So her father comes inside, and the father, what he does is he calls the prison because, Chelsea tells her dad that he had a stroke. He's in a hospital somewhere. I can't get in touch with him. And maybe because he had a stroke, he can't talk. So the father calls the prison, I guess, to find out exactly which hospital they sent him to. And the prison tells him, he didn't have a stroke. He's fine. He's not in a hospital. He's fine. In fact, another woman has been calling up here, looking for him or checking up on him. Yeah, that man ain't in no damn hospital. He's fine. So the coworker was right, to call BS on this. So the dad tells her that, look, the prison said that he's not in the hospital and he's fine. And so she's wondering, so why would his mom and sister tell me that he had a stroke? Well, this is the thing. When she had told Mikey that she wanted to introduce him to her father, all of a sudden he had the stroke. So it seems like he faked a stroke to avoid meeting her dad. That's what it seems like. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on, but that's what it seems like, because she talks about meeting her dad and then all of a sudden he had a stroke, and then coming to find out he really didn't have a stroke. So it seems like he faked a stroke and he got his mom and his sister involved in this, elaborate plan, I guess, to avoid meeting her. I don't know. I have no idea what the hell is going on. Or maybe he had plans with another woman and he couldn't meet the dad on the, I don't know. Child, I don't know. So later on, so Chelsea's so upset, and her dad is signing to her, like explaining to her what the prison told him in sign language. But then in her confessional, she said that her dad cannot sign. He doesn't know how to sign well. He can't sign for So I don't know if the father was explaining it correctly. I have no idea. But she gets upset. She gets in her car and she drives off and she goes to see her friend. And so the friend is also trying to help her figure out exactly what's going on. She tells her friend, he told me he had a stroke, but supposedly when my dad called the prison said that he didn't have a stroke, that he was fine. He was on in the hospital. So the friend is trying to help her figure out what the hell is going on. Either for whatever reason, the mom and sister are lying, or your boy Mikey is a complete a-hole for, misleading you and lying to you and being this deceptive, to the point where, she was worried about him. She was seriously worried about him, talking about how maybe he can't talk because the entire left side of his face is paralyzed. This woman was really worried about her man. Child, I don't know, but that's, oh Lord, it's bad enough when you got to deal with lies and deception with people who are free. And it's like, girl, you don't have to put up with this from an inmate. You can put up with these kind of games with a guy that's free, that you can actually see and have physical contact with. Moving on to Heidi and Ty. So Ty meets up with Hadi's cousin, because remember in the last episode, Hadi and Ty got engaged. Hadi's cousin came over to see Ty, presented her with the ring. They put Hadi on the phone and Hadi proposed marriage to her and she accepted. And so they're engaged. Now there was a second ring that the cousin was supposed to give to Ty's arch nemesis, Boston, but it was only as a backup plan. So she was only supposed to give the ring to Boston if and only if Ty did not accept the proposal. But Ty ended up accepting the proposal, so the cousin never even went to go see Boston. But Ty's own cousin had told her that word on the curb is that Hadi is engaged, but he's engaged to Boston. So now Ty wants to meet up with Hadi's cousin and be like, what's tea, sis? Because you told me that he wanted to propose to me and you came to my home with a ring, but people are telling me that he's engaged to somebody else. So did you go to Boston's house and give her a ring as well? So the cousin tells her, absolutely not. I promise you I didn't. I did not go see Boston, and I did not give Boston a ring from Hadi. And so Ty doesn't really know what to believe. And she tells the cousin, because, whatever, if he didn't want to be with me, all he's got to do is tell me. I really don't care. I don't know what she said. But the cousin was like, yeah, he's not engaged. As far as I know, he's not engaged to Boston. So that's where we stand with that. Who knows? I don't think I have anything else to say about Ty and Hadi. They met at a cemetery. And I was like, why are they meeting at a cemetery? I thought that they had a person, that they had a friend or a relative in common that passed away, and they were going to do go visit their grave while they talk about this whole Boston and Hadi issue. But no, they just decided to go meet at the cemetery. Moving on. Oh, I think that was the end of that. That was the end of the episode. Thank God. Y'all, this stuff is so stupid. Is this really the end? Mikey and Chelsea, Melissa and Louie. Yeah, that's the end. Wow, I did it in 20 minutes. I'm not going to say nothing more because it doesn't deserve any more of my time. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please do not forget to rate the video. And if you like this content, go ahead and subscribe. And I would definitely talk to you later. Bye.